Good morning. I thank you for the opportunity to be able to share some insights from the perspective of the IEEE. Also thank our introductory speaker, a very good overview of IoT and the challenges that we face. When we look at it from the perspective of the IEEE, and I'll share some insights in the IEEE as I go through the discussion, IoT is from a technology and a standards perspective is actually a paradigm shift. It's a paradigm, and in fact, we tend to look at IoT not from a perspective of the interfaces of the things, but as was addressed in the earlier presentation, it's the inclusion of all these technologies that are rapidly evolving, whether it's the technologies that relate to the things and the sensors, or the cloud, or the data analytics. All the things that are very rapidly evolving that need to be integrated together to bring together the solutions that we're looking for to provide to our consumers, and we get to around the 2020 time frame. This includes advances in the networking, whether it be the 5G development activities or advanced networking activities and transport activities. So there's a lot of activities going on, and from the IEEE perspective, this is a real paradigm shift, because now it's not developing standards for this activity or that activity. It's developing standards that can integrate across these multiple technology platforms. And the other challenge that it's bringing to the table is participants that did not traditionally work together in kind of integrating the requirements to support these technologies. Are now required to come together. In the past, we had maybe the communications industry, the IT industry, or the power industry, the consumer industry. Now it's a kind of an integrated environment where we all need to work together and build the structure to get there. A little bit about the IEEE. Many of you are probably aware that the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers is one of the larger global professional communities. It covers a vast array of activities to support its community, ranging from research, communications, education, publications, and standards, which is the part of the IEEE that I'm most directly involved in. Within the IEEE, we actually have a very broad IoT initiative that's reaching out to all sectors of the IEEE, the technology sectors, the education sectors, and trying to bring them all together to address this from a holistic perspective. This is an activity that's been going on for a couple years. It's trying to reach out, educate, promote, look at the technologies as they're required to come together. Where I come from is the standards community, and in the standards community, it becomes an interesting challenge when we begin to look at what we call IoT, because we need to look at it from what we call a full stack perspective. It addresses all technologies, from the technology perspective, from the physical layer up to the application layer. In addition, we need to look at it across the application layer. So we look at it both vertically and horizontally. Also within the IEEE, and it's not probably as well known, we have communities that, from a technology and standards perspective, that also look at the application areas: the power, transportation, medical, consumer, process automation, all areas that are intended or viewed to be able to benefit from the capabilities that are going to be brought forward. So when we begin to address standards, we need to bring these communities together as well, because it's not a technology solution, it's an application and user solution, and we need to ensure that this all integrates. So one of the major activities, in addition to what I'll call the traditional infrastructural types of standards activities that are ongoing in the IEEE, is an activity, and I'll give you we refer to it as the 2413 project, but it's a project that begins to look at how do I integrate across the application areas and across the technology areas to ensure the implementation of an architecture that allows the integration of what we call the cross-domain requirements. As we said, as we go into the future, we're going to have requirements supporting transportation or medical or consumer. But as you introduced, these applications all need to talk together. So we have to have the ability to put in place an architecture that allows the discovery, the communications, the management, the transport, the security, as you referenced, all come together, that these applications can be functional when we get into the 2020 time frame. The interesting part about this project is because of what I described earlier in terms of what we call the paradigm shift. When we embraced or embarked upon looking at an architectural framework, we stepped back and said, we really can't look at this from totally a technology perspective. We need to go out and look at it from what we call a go-to-market perspective. We need to go out and reach out to who are the potential users as well as the potential developers and understand their requirements going forward. So before even embracing upon this activity, the Standards Association engaged in global conferences and workshops to begin to kind of reach out to the various communities and to see how their requirements began to mesh together. This is about actually the third year of that activity that culminated in going forward with this project that's looking to try to take all the elements and pieces across the IEEE as well as other standards communities and bring them together. Now there's another paradigm shift that's occurred and we realized very quickly. In standards development, which brings together all involved constituents in the standards development project, standards development used to traditionally evolve around specific or particular standards communities. The paradigm shift with this activity is that standards communities can no longer be islands. Standards communities have to work together. And the IEEE, along with other communities, have come to realize this, and we're beginning to develop working relationships, because what comes out of one standards community is going to have to work what comes out of another standards community. Because we're looking, as we said, at a full stack requirement, going from the physical and networking layers to the protocol layers, the transport layers, the application layers, and all this work is done in different communities where the focus resides. So we're seeing different ways to approach this, which we need to work with to ensure that we achieve the go-to-market objectives that we're all looking for. Right now, in the case of the work in the IEEE, this project has about slightly over, 24 organizations that have come together to begin to look at this. We actually, in addition to industry in the U.S., NIST, in working with us from the U.S. government perspective, we've begun to work with other organizations like the IEC, 1M2M, reaching out to JTC1, to kind of looking at the different perspectives that those groups are addressing to assure that we begin to bring this together. We have special protocol activities that are being done in the IETF, which we need to reflect upon and bring. We have work being done in the W3C, which is looking at the user interfaces. We need to ensure that these pieces all come together. So again, you're beginning to look at sort of a holistic standards environment, which is different than the traditional way that we tended to look at it in the past. So as we go forward, as you indicated, there are a lot of statistics out there of what IoT is going to bring to the marketplace. We talk about 50 billion active devices tied to the internet in the 2020 time frame. We talk to 300 billion passive devices that will be connected to the internet. We see rapid growth. We see rapid evolving technologies that we call the enabling infrastructure technologies that need to be in place to ensure that we can use and make use of these connections to the internet. As we said, we got the cloud, we got the analytics, we got requirements of communications like the 5G work that's going on. We have advances going on in the sensor technologies and the power management technologies, security management technologies. All these things things which are progressing very rapidly, which have to converge to ensure that we provide an effective, Internet of Things infrastructure in the marketplace. And when I talk, it's sort of in conclusion, when I talk about the Internet of Things, I feel actually more comfortable talking about the Internet of Services, because that's what we're really providing. And these standards are really nothing more than the foundation that allow these services to be achieved. My parting words are: if we focus on the things, we may be missing the forest for the trees, because it's what is it that we can deliver. The IEEE looks to be a part of that process, working across these multiple technologies, working with the multiple communities, working with the multiple constituents that need to be participate in the process. And we're very excited about what the opportunity holds over the next 5 years as this whole area and environment begins to evolve. I thank you.
Thank you.